friends, welcome back. So it is May 6th and it is time to start Spinning Wheel of Doom Picks My Audiobook episode 2. If I don't say so myself, made great progress on my Libro FM catalog. Let me back up. Hi, if you didn't catch episode 1, I'll link it down below if you're interested in checking it out. Spinning Wheel of Doom Picks My Audiobook is my way of trying to gamify working through my extensive backlog of audiobooks that I have on Libro FM. I was a bookseller for 5 years, and then a social media manager for another 2 years after I was no longer a bookseller. And I have a lot of audiobooks thanks to Libro FM's bookseller program. I don't know why that was so hard to say. I am actively trying to read down those books. So this is a DNF friendly series. I am not going to be wasting my time on a 12-hour audiobook that I am not enjoying. So I'm DNFing liberally. I am archiving what I am no longer interested in, and we are just making progress on some of these books because I became a bookseller in 2018. So it's a lot of books. But like I said earlier, I made great progress last month. We started this project with 318 audiobooks, and at the end of April, I was down to 307. So not too shabby. So we're gonna change the spinning wheel to reflect the new number, and we're gonna spin, and we're gonna see what I get. All right, here we go. All right, what is that? 212. So let's go to 212, and that audiobook is Heat Wave. Do I know what that one is? Oh, is that? I wonder if that's the TJ Klune book, like the teenage superhero book. You know what I'm talking about? I hope somebody does, because otherwise, awkward for me. Okay, so Heat Wave, this is the book. But here's the deal. This is book 3. I have not read book 2, and I don't want to right now. I don't want to go backwards to go forwards because I'm fairly sure I don't have the audiobook for book 2. I don't think it was an ALC, but let me double check. If it was an ALC and I already have it, then I'll read book 2 and then book 3. If it's not, we're gonna respin because I don't have time to go back and read another book. Yes, I do not have Flashfire. Okay, so we're gonna spin again. Oh, that means it's going to be an oldie because I definitely have I think I have these in order of like when I acquired them. We Set the Dark on Fire. All right, that one. I think that one is YA? Yes. We Set the Dark on Fire. This is by Taylor K. Mejia, who I have read her middle grade before, and I really liked it. She has, what is it called? It's this series. And I really liked that. I thought that was really fun, middle grade. It says, what are we in for? It's a romantic fantasy debut, perfect for fans of The Handmaid's Tale and authors Zoraida Cordova and Anna Marie McLemore. Society wife in training, Dani has a great awakening after being recruited by rebel spies and falling for her biggest rival. Is it queer? Ooh, forbidden love. Ooh. Oh, maybe it's not queer. Maybe. Oh, ooh, it's on some Queer Your Shelves lists on Libro. Ooh, okay, cool. So that is the audiobook we're gonna start with this month. Yay! Okay. Thanks for joining me while we figured that out, and I'll come back and update you when I have made progress. You know how this goes. I don't need to say that. Bye! I owe you an update for We Set the Dark on Fire. Ignore the laundry basket, please. Getting teenagers to fold and put away their laundry is like pulling teeth out of a crocodile. So it is just what it is. I am about halfway through, and I have been dragging my feet at giving you an update because this is typically the type of YA fantasy that I don't really enjoy. It's from a very specific time period of YA, and I really I don't like the YA that's set in a society that is super patriarchal and women are forced to be really subservient. And I know that this book, just like from reading the synopsis, I don't think this is a spoiler, but from reading the synopsis, like I know they're just gonna chuck everything out the window and burn it all down, which I think will be great. But like just the getting to there, I feel so uncomfortable. Ooh, that's a really cute squirrel. Okay, if it's still there in a minute, I'll show you. Oh, he's a chunky boy too. Okay, focus. Just the getting to that burn it all down I feel so uncomfortable that it's not a fun reading experience, but I really like this author's middle grade and I really like the narrator. So I am forcing myself to read outside my comfort zone just a little bit, and I am liking it. Now, this is a duology, so I don't know if I will read book 2. We'll have to see how this ends. But anyways, this is about, oh gosh, what's her name? Dani. And Dani, how do I explain this? In this world, because of their religious mythology, every man has 2 wives. He has a primera and he has a segunda. And the primera runs his household, takes care of like the finances, takes care of managing the staff, takes care of like all the organizational things in his life. And the segunda is the one who has the children, raises the children. And the idea is that the primera is very unemotional and practical and rational, and then segunda gets to be very like colorful and emotional and vibrant. And the idea being that the primera brings this man organization and stability, and the segunda brings color and light and joy into his household. I hate it so much. Anyways, and so there's this school that young girls can be sent to that train them to either be a primera or a segunda. And Dani's family are refugee immigrants, and they have immigrated from a part of this world that is really looked down upon. And Dani has false papers that say she is a citizen of this city. I don't want to say kingdom, but and that's why she's able to go to the school. And if anybody found out that her papers were false and that she's actually from this other place, then it would just be like catastrophic. And so we meet Dani right as she's about to graduate from this school and marry a man that has like from this really wealthy family that has basically bought her. And then at the same right before graduation, she's approached by this boy who's part of this like rebel alliance and asked to spy for him or spy for the organization while she is in her new husband's home. So yeah, I can't tell. I know I said at the beginning that it was on a queer list. I can't tell if she is going to have a romance between her and the boy from the rebel group, or if there's a woman in her household that maybe their feelings will develop between the two of them. I don't know. I can't tell. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I do know what's going on plot-wise. Romance-wise, why it's under all those queer lists on Libro, I'm not sure yet, but that's your update. That's where we are. I'm hoping to finish it in the next 2 days or so. I've been distracted by other reading projects, but now those are all wrapped up. So this project is going to get my full this project is going to get my full attention for at least next week. So the squirrel friend scampered away, but it was right there on that tree limb while I was trying to record. Good morning. I finished, let me get you adjusted. I finished We Set the Dark on Fire this morning, and I'm going to give it a 4. But here's the thing. This is not the type of like YA fantasy I like to read, or just the type of fantasy I like to read, because this is really tense and stressful the whole way through. There's no like lighter moments. There's no lightening of the, I don't know, hardship. That sounds weird, but there's no moments of levity, say that. And I feel like this book is maybe a little too fast paced because it just flew by. It went by so fast. And I almost would have rathered the pace had slowed down a little bit and we'd had a few more moments of levity and gotten to know the characters better outside of these constant states of stress and trauma, because I have a really hard time connecting with characters when you only get to see them reacting to outside forces and not just who they are as regular people existing in the world. So I'm giving it a 4 because I like this writer a lot. I think she's a really good writer, and I like the writing style. I like the characters. I love that it's gay. It's awesome. And I like the themes. Like, I like so many things about it, but this type of super tense fantasy is just not my favorite. I think if you like an Ember in the Ashes, like that style of fantasy, then you would probably really like this as well, because I think I've DNF'd an Ember in the Ashes twice because I could just tell that nothing good was going to happen to those people at all in the entire series, and every single review I've watched of that series confirms that suspicion. So I don't know if I'll continue in this duology. I don't think I will. But, never say never. Maybe someday I'll circle back and I'll read book 2. But I do still recommend this, even though it's not a good fit for me. I think it's a good book. And yeah, if you read YA fantasy and you like very high stakes, lots of tension, very fast paced, like definitely pick it up because it was a good time for all those elements. Okay, now I have to start getting ready for the day and pack lunches and get the kids ready and off to school and myself off to work. We're going to spin real fast to see what my next audiobook is so that I can just start that when I get home from work. So we're spinning. I'll spare you having to look. What did I do? Oh, all right, we got $2.89. So let's go over to my Google Docs. And then $2.89 is Rebel Skies. I don't know what that is. I think it's a newer release based off of where it is in the spreadsheet. Oh yes, okay, so this came out in February. It is this book here, Rebel Skies. It's I think it's standalone. Oh, first in a series. It's a debut. It says it will sweep readers away to an aerial world of magic, danger, and political intrigue, perfect for fans of Elizabeth Lim, Kaylin Byron, and the films of Studio Ghibli, and I love all 3 of those things. So this will be good. I think this is YA or is this middle grade? Hard to tell sometimes. I'm gonna go with probably YA since they comped it to Elizabeth Lim and Kaylin Byron. It's also 7 hours and 59 minutes, which we love. I love a 7-hour audiobook. It's a perfect audiobook length. I will be starting that when I get home from school. No, why do I keep saying that? When I get home from work, and I'll give you guys an update when I got something to say. Happy Friday. I owe you an update for Rebel Skies. I don't remember anybody's name. I have a hold placed on the physical copy because I'm a visual learner with names especially. I really need to see them written out to remember how to pronounce them, especially if they're unfamiliar to me. And this book is heavily Chinese inspired fantasy, which is amazing. But of course, I'm having a hard time remembering the names just by listening to them orally, but that's redundant because I'm listening in oral. Anyways, moving on. So in this fantasy world, people largely live on these sky ships, and there's not a stigma, but people who are born on land are looked down upon, even if they eventually live on a sky ship. Where you are born plays a big part in how you are perceived. And our main character, she and this boy, who I don't know if he is her brother or if they were just found together and are now best friends. But anyways, they're found together when they're really little. And the story is that the boy had like a spike going through his chest and somehow survived, and like that is a miracle in itself. And so they live on this skyship and they're both servants and life is pretty hard. And then there is an attack and their skyship crashes and the girl discovers that she is a crafter, which means she has the ability to use magic to control these paper constructs that exist in this kingdom. And then something catastrophic happens to the boy, and she sets up on this adventure to find out more about her powers in the hope that she can save the boy. And I think the world building is phenomenal. Like, it's so cool. This whole world is really, really cool. The narrator has a British accent, and I wish that they didn't. Just because sometimes, I don't know, it's like sometimes I just have a hard time tracking, and I'm listening to it slower than I normally would, but I do think this world building is super duper cool, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm hoping I get the physical book soon, because I definitely feel like if I could tandem read it, I would be tracking it better and absorbing it more. But I don't necessarily think my inability to track is like the fault of the book. I think it's just me and how I process auditory information sometimes. So I just need a little extra support. So as you know, Fridays are my day off. So I actually drove to a town a little ways away from me, and I'm going to go to a coffee shop that I drive by pretty frequently, but I've never been in before, and I'm pretty excited. And this is part of my goal I had for myself for 2024, like a personal goal, because I still have a lot of anxiety about leaving the house. Post-COVID. It's gotten a lot better, but I still struggle to go to new locations by myself. It's hard. So my goal for this year was to push myself out of that a little bit. So let's go check it out. Hello, it's a little bit later in the day, and I have gotten to 53% into Rebel Skies, and I think I'm going to DNF it. I know I said I was waiting for the physical copy, and then I was thinking about that, and the whole idea of this project, this ongoing project, is to get through my Libro FM backlog, right? And so does it really make sense to have to get a physical book to be able to enjoy the audiobook? Not really. And I would like in this project for these audiobooks to kind of stand on their own and not have to jump through hoops to make the audiobook work for my brain. And not every audiobook is going to work for my brain. And there's something about this narrator where I am bouncing off of it so hard, like so hard. And I don't know why, but I'm just having a really hard time tracking what's going on. And I feel like even though this is YA, it's reading like middle grade. It's reading really young, which is fine, like totally fine for that age group. Like for that age category, like it doesn't make it a bad YA for it to read young, but it's just not appealing to me, an adult reader, which is fine. It's fine. I don't expect every single YA book to be a good fit for me because I am not the target audience for that age category. So we're going to DNF. Also, I'm not really interested in what's going on. Like I said, the world building is so cool, but I don't really like the main character. I don't like the characters. I like the world so much. I think the world is really interesting with these paper constructs and the magic to animate them. I think the theme is really interesting about like personhood as applies to these paper constructs and the way a lot of crafters manipulate them. Like the main character, she's calling out a lot of that behavior, and like you say this thing isn't living, but like it moves, it talks, it interacts with people, like it still has feelings, like what you do to it matters. And I think those are all really great themes. And I think especially like with, what is going on with AI and like all like, the headlines about people making friends with AI. Like I think these are really good themes and interesting conversations to be existing in YA books. So I like all that. I don't care for the characters. So we're going to DNF, which is fine. That is an acceptable outcome for this project, we are going to spin again and see what audiobook we get this time. The other thought I had when I was trying to decide whether or not to DNF it is, and like waiting for the physical book, is that circling back around to letting these audiobooks stand on their own. I really want these audiobooks to be like the ones I listen to. I want to be gripping. Like I want to listen to them. And Rebel's Guides I was listening to out of obligation because of this vlog project, and I don't want that for myself. I want to listen to them. So that's going to be, I guess, the framework going forward, is if I get to a point where I don't want to listen to the audiobook, then by the necessity of having like 300 other audiobooks behind it, I think I just have to DNF them. It's just, how it goes. 162. I was kind of hoping we'd get a smaller number, because then we could go back to like ones that I've had for a really long time, though 162, that one could be kind of old. Where are we? Lost track. Okay. 162. Oh, my husband's going to be so happy. He's been wanting me to read this book for a really long time, because he read it a couple Christmases ago and really liked it. I've read 2 other books by this author before and really liked both of them. So the book is Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I've, of course, read, I just forgot what the book was called, All the Light We Cannot See. I read All the Light We Cannot See ages ago and really liked it. And then I've also read his nonfiction, which is called 4 Seasons in Rome or something like that. It's basically, he got a fellowship or something like that for a year to write in Rome and do research for All the Light We Cannot See. But he and his wife came home from the hospital with their twins the day he found out he'd been awarded like that fellowship to go do that. So they were living in Rome for a whole year with baby twins. And he would go and he would write all day, and his wife would stay in their like little Italian apartment with the babies. And then on the weekends they'd try to like see Rome and go on like train trips around the countryside. And I really liked it, but I haven't read anything from him in a really long time. I read the nonfiction first. So I bet I read All the Light We Cannot See in was it before I was working as a bookseller? Might have been like 2016, 2017. It was a long time ago. Yeah, All the Light We Cannot See came out in 2014. So I bet I read it in 2016, 2017. Wow. It was like a whole other lifetime ago. Anyways, okay, yeah. So this is my next book, and I've heard really good things about it. I do have a physical copy of this, and I have wanted to read it for a really long time. I just kind of needed the motivation to get it done. Okay, this is what I was looking for Rebel Skies. This is what I was talking about needing the audiobook to be something that I wanted to listen to. I listened to 70 pages of this. I sat down with the intention of only listening to a little bit and then getting on with my day, but I got so sucked into that audiobook that I just kept listening. And then I did have to turn it off because my twins are in a play and the parents take turns feeding the cast each night of performances, and I had signed up for this night, so I did have to turn it off to go take the food to the school, stay while everybody ate, and then bring all my stuff home. And then I just finished cleaning the kitchen and cleaning up from helping to make dinner, and now I just want to go back to this. It's so interesting. I have no idea. I didn't read the synopsis, so I have no idea what we're doing with this one. There's so far 3 POVs. We have one who's a 7-year-old girl in like ancient Rome, and then another girl who's on like a space station and hasn't left the room that she's in for over a year, and the only like being she has to talk to is the ship computer, I think. And then the other one is like an 80-year-old man who's a teacher and is in a library doing a rehearsal of Aristophanes' The Birds with a bunch of 5th graders. I have no idea what's going to happen or what's going on or how all these people are connected, but it's so good. And the narration is excellent and the writing is wonderful. And I just am dying to know how these stories are going to connect. Oh, and The Man and the Kids, that's set in February of 2020. I don't think I mentioned that. So anyways, So happy with my life choices right now. Easy 5 stars. I don't know what to tell you. No, that's just kidding. I do know what to tell you. This was fantastic. This is a 600-page book, and I blew through it in like 5 days. The audiobook was fantastic. Wow, the light. Okay, sorry. Audiobook was amazing. Marin Ireland does the majority of the audiobook, and then there are these excerpts from a book at the beginning of each chapter, and somebody else does those segments. I can't remember his name. Hold please. Simon Jones does that part, and it was just so good. I'm hesitant to tell you what this is about because I went in not knowing anything. I didn't even read like the flap on the synopsis, or the synopsis on the flap, and the discovery of what this book is about was like the highlight of reading this and figuring out how all the different perspectives were connected or not connected, but just how it all wove together. Like that part, that was what kept me listening to the audiobook as compulsively as I did, as I just wanted to know how all these people were connected. This is a book about a book and our connections to each other through books, and about librarians and libraries, and it's just so good. I love how Anthony Doerr writes. I love how he writes people. I think his character work is so well done. And I just rooted for every single perspective in this book. I wanted all of them to be okay and to get what they needed. I teared up at the end because of one character who I really loved every time we were in his perspective, but his storyline like broke my heart. It was so sad. So yeah, just incredible book. This is a mix of a whole lot of things. It's historical, it's contemporary, it's science fiction. Like it's got a lot going on, and it just all works so well together. I would say if you read All the Light We Cannot See and you didn't like it, I would still recommend this one because I think this one is so different from All the Light We Cannot See. I would recommend this if you've liked The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. I think this has similar qualities, even though the stories are wildly different. But yeah, I think there's threads that are similar between the two. So yeah, this was like exceeded all expectations. I liked it. I liked it so much. This is such a good story. And just what I was looking for when I was talking about wanting the audiobooks that I listened to in this project to be books that I wanted to listen to, where once I had to press pause, I was just waiting to get back to when I could press play again the whole time. And that's exactly the feeling I had listening to this book. Every time I had to pause, I was counting down the minutes until I could get back to the book. Like I listened to a little bit this morning, and then almost the whole time at work, I was just thinking about when I was going to be done with work and I could come home and I could finish it, because I wanted to be back with these characters again and I wanted to be back immersed in this writing again. So just, it's fantastic. Fantastic. I think this will be on my list of like my favorite books of the year because it was just so masterfully done and such a good example of a 600-page book that did not feel like it was 600 pages. It did not feel like there was fluff in here that needed to get it to be edited out. Everything felt important. Everything felt like it was doing something to further the story, to further characters, to further connections. Like it did not feel like, it felt like Anthony Doerr's editor did their job, basically is how it felt. I guess now we get another audiobook, though to be honest, I'm a little scared because I don't know. I don't know if we can top this. This was a really, like, I don't know how the next audiobook is going to hold up to this one, but we have time in the month because it's May 22nd. So we have time. I have time to do one more audiobook. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully this is not a bad decision. Hopefully I don't regret this, but that's what we're going to do. Oh, what is that? Oh, 21. Oh, Okay. I'm always surprised by what the number is. I don't know why. Oh gosh, I just don't, nothing, what is going to do better? What is going to do better than this one? Oh, so this is good symmetry. I actually kind of like this as far as like symmetry for this episode goes. So the book we got is another fire book. It's With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, who I've read a couple things from and really enjoyed it. And I have had this on my, like, obviously it's on my Libro of M TBR, but it's been on my like mental TBR of, oh, someday I should read this book because I know it's really popular. And I read Clap When You Land and really loved that one. Oh, is that my only one I've read by her? Maybe it is. But anyways, okay, so I feel like this is good. I feel like it'll be different, but I think Elizabeth Acevedo is also an incredible writer, and she does the narration on the audiobook, and she's also a good audiobook narrator, so I feel like it'll be good. This should not be a letdown after Cloud Cuckoo Land. Y'all, I think I made a mistake. I have been reading With the Fire on High. I also grabbed the ebook from the library just because it was readily available, and I was wanting to read it, but I was already in bed, and I don't really listen to audiobooks when I'm in bed. So anyways, I'm farther along in the audio because of the ebook, and I haven't updated the audiobook yet. But my mistake is that my hold on the audiobook for The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes came in, and I started it this morning, and I'm already 28% in. Whoops. It'll be fine. I need to charge my battery. I'll come give you an update on The Fire on High after it's charged. Why is going and getting my dang tripod so hard sometimes? Hello. I cleaned. Thank goodness. I didn't show you what this disaster zone looked like an hour and a half ago, but trust me, it is way better. I do need to go put my sheets back on my bed, and because I cleaned them. And I need to clean my mirrors and dust in my bedroom, which I will do shortly. But I haven't really given you an update on With the Fire on High, which I still want to call Clap When You Land. I don't know why. It's not. Thank goodness for chores and for house cleaning, because I'm now, why do I need to show you that? I don't. 51% of the way through this book, and I like it so much. I feel like even though this book is in prose, it's so easy to tell that Elizabeth Acevedo is a poet, because even her prose like reads like poetry. It's so, I don't know, there's just, maybe it's the way she's reading it on the audiobook. Maybe if I was just reading it with my eyeballs, the poetry of it wouldn't feel like it was at the forefront, but it feels so poetic in the way that she reads it. I don't know how else to explain it. I really like it. I think it's so pretty. But this story is about Imani, who's in her senior year of high school, and she had a child when she was, I think, a freshman, or in between her freshman and her sophomore year. And so she's juggling a lot. You know, she's going to school, she's working part-time, she's raising her daughter, she's trying to figure out if college is something that's even in the cards for her, because how do you raise a child and go to college and work a job and, you know, all those things all at the same time. And she's always been really into cooking and being creative with food, and her high school offers a culinary arts class as an elective, and she decides to take it, and it's not what she thought it would be. And that's all I'm going to give you, because I think that's really, like, if you want anything about what this book is about, that's all you really need. And I just love the writing, and I love her narration, and I really like all the characters, and I think a lot of what Imani is dealing with, it feels really real and true, and it's so heartfelt, and yeah, I really, really like it. So that's your update. I have, how long on audio? I have 2 hours and 7 minutes left, and I have almost exactly 2 hours before my youngest gets out of school, so I don't anticipate finishing this today. I'll probably listen for maybe another hour today and then finish it tomorrow morning, and then I'll give you all a final update. But it's so good. This challenge was so nice to me this month. It was so nice to me, which is great. I love that. And I'm really happy that I resisted temptation and didn't listen to Hawthorne Legacy while I was cleaning. I'm very glad that I kept going with The Fire on High. So that's it, friends. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just kidding. I finished The Fire on High with The Fire on High like 5 minutes ago. I ended up finding a few extra chores that needed to be done, and these chapters are so short that, I mean, some of those chapters were only 2 minutes long, and I think the longest was maybe like 8 or 10 minutes long. So it was so easy to be like, well, I'll just listen to one more chapter. Okay, I'll just listen to one more chapter. Okay, but maybe I'll listen to one more chapter. And I just did that like for an hour, basically. I had to steam my dress for the wedding, so I did that. And then I, put it around. So anyways, yeah, I gave it 4.25 stars. I really liked it. I loved the writing, like I said. I think Elizabeth Acevedo's writing is just so beautiful, and I really loved Imani. I didn't enjoy the part where, I don't want to spoil anything. There was a part 3/4 of the way through where the location switched, and I didn't love that location switch as much. Like, I liked it when it was having to do with cooking and food and being in the kitchen and learning how to be a chef, but there was like relationship stuff that I just didn't like as much. I also so frustrated, and I understand why it is the way it is. So there's a scene with, I don't want to spoil anything. All right, never mind. I can't figure out how to talk about it without spoiling what happens in this book. So I'll just say that there are certain characters in this book who should behave better, and they don't. And there's no resolution to their bad behavior, which, is realistic, because usually when somebody has repeated bad behavior, they don't have, generally there's not a realization that they've been behaving badly, and an apology and a change of behavior. Like, I know that is not how it goes in real life, so it makes sense that would not happen in the book, but I found all those interactions so frustrating because Imani is just treated so unfairly by those characters, and those characters really should have her back and not treat her the way that they do. But it's not the book's fault. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing about the book because it's realistic. Like, Elizabeth Acevedo did a good job writing those characters and writing those scenes, because I felt the feelings that she probably wants her reader to feel, but it was just so frustrating. Anyways, it's a good book. Highly recommend if you read YA contemporary, like, and have not lived under a rock like I have, and still haven't read With the Fire on High. Anyways, so with that, we're gonna end this episode 2 of Wheel of Doom Picks My Audiobook. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. I'm really loving this challenge, and I'm really delighted because the first one did much better performance-wise than I thought it would be. So that is, like, if you watched the first one and now you're watching this one, thank you so much for supporting this little series. If this is the first one you've caught and you want to check out episode 1, I'll link it down below so you can see the journey I went on with that one. I'm tempted to title this one Revenge of the YA. Well, I was going to do Revenge of the YA Fantasy, but then I didn't get a third YA fantasy, so I'm not sure what the title of this will be right now, but anyways, that's not important. The important thing is, thank you for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. And if you want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, pick some sort of food emoji. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!